Astrologer Ysanne Lewis at the stars could be the key to understanding what makes our children tick and how we can be better parents. If that's the case, I am in. She joins us now. Good morning, Ysanne. Great to have you with us. How did you first get into the world of astrology?
Oh, good morning to you. How did I first get into it? Well, I was one of those youngsters who wanted to do many, many things and couldn't decide. I trained as an actress. I did many jobs. But what ran me was curiosity, particularly the patterns in things, the meaning behind things. And in my 20s, I discovered that astrology was a very complex subject. You had to do all the mathematics for it. It weren't just a star sign. There were all the planets, the personalities, and a lot of maths. So I dug in and did all the logarithms maths. And at the age of 27, I went self-employed. And I haven't looked back in 42 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And when did you get into this baby astrology? When did you get into that?
Well, probably from the beginning. People have always been interested in having their baby's charts done. Because I work a lot with timing, I think the starting point of anything is imperative.
So why do you think it's so popular?
Well, at the moment, I think it is because, in a way, lockdown, people have more anxiety, they worry about their baby's children's future. And I have heard through various businesses and associations that there's been a lot more people booking in for maternity leave.
So what do planets tell us about our future and about ourselves, in your opinion? What's the takeaway?
I call that moment in time. Any moment is like a snapshot of where the planets are. And they indicate the cycles and the patterns that were around you when you were born, or what the business chart is as well. And it can help you to understand, get much greater insight into your strengths, weaknesses, challenges, and pathway in general. It's not, in my book, it's not fortune telling, it's not cast in stone, but I do help people to pull back those layers of all the conditioning, sometimes education, and to look at the real person, if you like, underneath. And with a baby, how that child fits in with the family line and relates with siblings, parents, grandparents. And indeed, many grandparents asked me to do a chart for the grandchild.
Well, we've had a lot of people get in touch with us, haven't we, Alison?
We have. We're going to start off with Katrina. She wants to know, what jobs will my two boys have? There's a still of them here. This is Alfie, 14, and Jack, who's 12. Now, Jack loves to do sports and refereeing. And he's quite sensitive as well. I would like to know both of their destinies and what jobs they would be good at. What do you think?
Yeah, well, let's look at Jack first. And there is a lot of curiosity here. He is very sensitive. And I often find youngsters, up until perhaps later teens, who are very sensitive, even shy maybe, come into their own when they're a little bit older. I think that's quite important. And I think for Jack, vocation is very important. Not just a job, nothing wrong with just having a job, but vocation itself, having a direction. He's highly observant, and I think he would do very well in the educational field as well. He's got a moon in Scorpio, which and the moon changes every 2 days of the month, and that makes still waters run deep. He's a very deep soul, and yet he can shine his light, but that may take a little while.
Yeah, this is just to clarify. So Alfie was born on the 14th of June 2006, and Jack on the 9th of August 2008.
Yes.
Okay.
So we look at Alfie?
Yes.
So Alfie, now that's an interesting one. He said about being a referee, and you know what? Some people really know what they're born to do and be. And he is a natural referee and a mediator. I suspect that, I like the idea that he would have many changes of career, or at least a few, and he is highly innovative. He could also be a very good sports psychologist. That's just giving a little flavour.
I'm loving it, Ysanne. I'm loving this. Let's move on to Charlotte. Charlotte wants to know, will my baby be sociable when he's older? Here he is. He looks quite sociable and quite now. How sociable will my son be as he gets older? As lockdown 1.0 baby, he hasn't seen many people yet. So he was born on Monday the 27th of April 2020, 2:20 p.m. What can you tell us about him?
Edward.
Oh, he's Edward.
He's sweet. So sweet. Very sociable. He'll be very discerning. socially as well. That's a good word, discerning. That shows up a lot in his chart. Not a bad thing to be.
What makes you
And
say
again,
that?
various signatures in the chart which indicate that he is very, very sociable. He'd be very popular with both boys and girls, men and women. So I think that he'll have careers where he needs to be stimulated. He may have a low boredom threshold to some degree. Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah, isn't it? And he really draw to him unusual people and people from very different backgrounds, which I know nowadays is more the norm than it was maybe 50 years ago. But this little chap is a traveller, and he does draw all sorts of people to him. Very observant. You can see that in his eyes.
Oh, brilliant. Ysanne, I want to jump in again and let's do another one. Let's do Sarah. What personality will my baby boy have? What kind of personality will he have? His name's Harris. And how will this influence his friendships and jobs when he's older?
Well, this chart, they're all interesting charts. But can I just put this one up? Do you mind? And the viewers can actually see what a chart can look like.
Oh, gosh, it's very complicated, isn't it?
And look at all the planets over one side in this case, yeah? Well, fascinating chart, like they all are. And he's a very deep person already, very deep person, and possibly a late developer. A lot of Capricorn energy there. And he's a loyal person. And he can come over as a little bit aloof, but he'll have a lovely air of authority. He doesn't look aloof, does he?
He doesn't. Ysanne, sadly, we have to wrap that up now, but thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so
pleasure.
much. Thank you so much. Still to come, though, it was the birthplace of some of the greatest 80s music. Midge, your tells us about